Hey, I got a lot of comments on my Medicare video where I talked about the issues with Medicare, the comments that Trump said regarding cutting entitlements. Um, so I want to really tackle a lot of those comments all at once. A lot of these comments were on YouTube, so we'll talk about it all at once. First things first, let's dive into the 3% number that I cited. A lot of people ask where I got it. I got it from the Kaiser Foundation. The Kaiser Foundation did a much deeper dive into Medicare costs and what their admin costs are. Medicare Part A was the cheapest. Around 1.3% of all Medicare dollars in Part A go to admin costs. The most expensive from an admin perspective is Medicare Part D, and that is at 8%. However, Medicare Part D only accounts for 11% of Medicare spending by the U.S. So 3% was the estimate based on an overall to figure out the math. If you guys want to break down more detailed, you absolutely can. Again, I got these numbers from the Kaiser Foundation, but you'll be right around that 3% number that I was too. Next thing, people were saying, let's get rid of fraud. Absolutely. Nobody is disagreeing that fraud is bad. But it's not like fraud shows up with bright, bold letters on an Excel sheet. We're talking about millions and millions and millions of patients. Medicare covers about 66 million patients in the United States, roughly a fifth to a sixth of the whole U.S. population. What would it cost to find fraud? You would need very sophisticated medical insurance auditors. You would need forensic accountants. You'd need managers. So let's break that down. We've got 66 million people. Let's assume that each auditor has a caseload of 100,000 patients that they have to go throughout the year with a fine-tooth comb. Anybody who's worked an admin job, their butthole just clenched. This is an insane caseload. Most insurance auditors do a few hundred to a few thousand cases. We're talking about over 100,000 each. So now we need 660 new auditors to employ in the federal government. They also need to be paid. So what are they going to be paid? So for the sake of argument, I'm going to say they make $70,000 in wages per year. This is just a rough estimate off of a few Google searches that I've done based on what medical insurers make in various different states, things like that. Odds are a lot of these people will need to understand the medical industry, have some kind of medical degree, or have some kind of financial accounting degree. So $70,000 is probably on the low end. Then you have to give them benefits. Benefits for the U.S. government cost $22.80 per hour per employee. That's a more detailed breakdown, or roughly $43,000 a year. So $70,000 for a wage, $40,000 for benefits. We're at 110. Let's round it off, make it 100 just to keep the math simple. We are already at more than about $6.5–7 million a year just to look for fraud. Now you have to put them someplace. You need to have offices. You need to have electricity. You need to pay for computers. They need administrative help in terms of IT services. They need managers. They need government oversight. This will probably be a appointed position based on the way the federal government works. But if you're overseeing an office of 700 people, odds are there's a lot of other people around in terms of janitorial staff that you need to look at too. Rough guess, let's call it $12 million. How much fraud would you need to uncover in order to find $12 million when Medicare spends a total of about $900 million? you'd need to be able to find probably 3 or 4% of cases being fraud. Is it possible? Maybe, but I tend to doubt it. I doubt that there is that much fraud going on without people being able to see it pretty plainly. Maybe there is, but it's a pretty significant bet to make to just shell out 10 to $15 million on a guess. Um, this is a much deeper dive, obviously. There are going to be people who say that fraud is going to be easy to find. I don't think so. The whole point of fraud is to hide it. It's not going to be something people see easily. So, hope this helps. Hope this kind of explains things a little bit better. Odds are I'm still going to get just as many crazy troll comments as before, but I wanted to dive deeper into this. This has been Ginger Politics.